Peace. Today is Sunday the 17th. Making today's math, knowledge, God, all being born to build, destroy. When you have the knowledge of God, it allows you to build on a positive and destroy that negative. Knowledge, God, all being born to build, destroy. Peace. Peace. Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I am your host, Lord Jamar.
And I'm Digga.
And once again, with the show shot win, we back for some more discussion of hip hop and life and culture.
What's going on with my microphone?
Yeah, fix that motherfucker so they can hear you properly.
I need to slide over or something. There you go.
And now she's still in frame, Harold. Let's make sure that she's still in frame properly.
Okay.
Because your braids is laid. Make sure the mic is always to that side. Yeah, you want to be on. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
She good?
Good money?
Good money.
All right.
Looking beautiful as always.
Thank you.
Those blades, are they hurting your scalp? They look like they might be a little tight.
They are tight, but they're not like I need a headache. I mean, I have a headache.
You don't play those games.
Yeah, nah. I'm like, yo, that's easy.
Yeah. Because when I had dreads, that's kind of part of what made me cut them. Is towards the end, I started getting them braided. And like, first of all, wifey was braiding them, and she was doing that shit mad tight. Like, god damn, like, that shit was hurting. But anyway, like, when you braid
really pulls your hair out.
Well, it was, but it was also, I think that helped to thin my shit in the front. But it also caused new growth, like mad fast. So now it looked like I'm having a half dreads, half afro fucking thing going on. I said, oh, no, this ain't gonna work. We gonna have to just cut this shit off and start from scratch. So that's what the fuck we did. Real quick before we go on, if you'd like to donate to the show, go to cash.me/$Yanadameen. That's YANADAMEEN. That's how you spell Yanadameen. Or that's how we spell it anyway. Patreon.com/Yanadameen or Yanadameen.com/support. Okay, so we just came off a great episode with the Queen.
Yes.
Roxanne Shanté.
Shouts out to Shanté. One of my idols.
People seem to really enjoy that episode.
Yeah, they did.
Just having us sit down and, talk about what we know best, which is this hip hop shit.
That's right.
And I think,
I was so transfixed. Like I'm watching all the clips the whole time. I'm just like,
well, I read one comment was saying, did you notice how she didn't hardly look at her? What the fuck are you talking about?
That was so goofy.
Like,
I know,
yeah,
I was staring at her the whole time.
Like, some people just want to just say some shit just to say it.
I know.
Like, and yeah, I guess that's the new, what they call trolls these days.
Bless their heart. Yeah, that had to be a troll. I'm like, are you kidding? I couldn't take my eyes off her.
Yeah.
I love her.
So anyway, we said we want to kind of get away from time sensitive issues because in all transparency, we shoot this about a week before
pretty much
it comes
a week
out.
before it airs.
Yeah, so we shoot this a week before it airs. So to talk about whatever the fuck happened yesterday or whatever the case, it's a little stale by the time we get to it.
And it's unfortunate because people really do want to know what we have to say about these things.
And I think there's going to be a fix to that in the future.
Absolutely.
I think with certain really important news, we're just going to have to go live sometimes.
Yeah.
Wherever the fuck we're at.
I was thinking we might just have to do like bust in on Skype, like breaking news.
Exactly, but we're gonna have to set up like
Drake just threw in the towel.
You're gonna have to get the lights at your spot, and then I got the lights at my spot, and then we fucking, if shit like that happens, then we'll just bust in on some Skype. Like, listen, we had to bring this shit to you now, or whatever the fuck the case may be. But right now, this is how we doing it, and so we want to keep conversation that's more, just not so time sensitive.
Exactly.
Universal topics.
Not so hot topical, if you
right.
will.
Some shit that you can talk about today or 5 months from now or 5 years from now.
Classic material.
Yeah, exactly.
Notice my shirt says classic. I know when I wear the vest, it just looks like ass and shit, but it actually says classic. It says
Assy.
classic.
You had the... Oh, yeah. I got,
See, with the vest on.
when it's coming out, it just says ass. Like, no, it says classic. That's what I meant.
Classic.
I'm not all about ass.
Ass is good.
Yeah, I'm about those Knicks, even though we're not about that winning, but I am about these New York Knicks. So that's what
Well, hopefully by the time this ends, the series will be tied between Golden State.
By the
and
time this airs,
Cleveland.
this shit could be over.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying hopefully it'll be tied. I'm hoping it's not a sweep.
Hopefully the Knicks will finally. Well, now we got years to go before we can even dream of whatever. That's a whole nother show.
Just got mad emotional.
But I'm still repping Knicks, win or lose. I'm not one of those fair weather fans.
Good for you.
So anyway, I think on a previous show we had discussed, top 5 MCs. And I think I said
It's impossible.
it's impossible to really narrow a 5, even from any little, from each era of hip hop. Like, within each era, I'm sure there's more than 5.
Exactly.
But I think I'd like to go through some of the artists, pardon me, that are in my top category of all time.
Okay.
I'd like to know yours. If you
Okay.
concur with mine. If you don't, let's rap about it.
Or I think our viewers would appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to give you a perspective of, my education,
Okay.
my hip hop education, where I come from, why I see things a certain way. I also, while we have this conversation, I also want to point out, because I think people think I'm real hard on this generation. The little yakties and all these little motherfuckers. Yes, I say his name wrong.
I think they think that about all of us. I think,
Right.
quote
I'm
unquote,
not
the old heads.
a hater
We just get that
of
label in general.
all things new. I just don't like whack shit, and I never have. And there's plenty of shit I can point out from the earliest days of hip hop that I didn't like, that I didn't appreciate, that I thought could have been better. And I think we can bring some of that shit up too in this episode, because it's just being fair. You know what I mean? I want you to see that, yeah, I'm not a fucking hater of this new generation.
Lord Jamar and Rah Digga calls out all things whack.
I'm actually a lover of hip hop.
That's right.
You see? So if you love something, you're going to strive to protect it. You see what I'm saying? You don't want just somebody to throw shit on it.
Absolutely.
Throw shit on some shit you love. Come on. You're going to protect that shit. And well, here's why. So let's go to the beginning.
Okay.
And now I'm sure I've said this in many interviews. I probably said this on this show before. But there's 3 main MCs that I give credit for hip hop being able to move forward. Meaning they took it past
The block parties.
well, not just the block parties, but they took it past the yes, y'all, a beat, y'all, a freak it out, y'all, you don't stop. Because that's kind of what it was at first. That's all you really had to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you could say some little shit I ride around in a Def OJ,
Because remember, at that time, it was really all about the DJ. The DJ
Yes.
was really what drove the
Come
party.
on,
and then the DJ started getting hip. Let's
not just the
let's
DJ,
put a
the break
lyricist-
beat, the break beat
right.
itself was hip
Let's
hop.
put a wordsmith here, just to
Just to add a little flavor to it. What's your
Right.
zodiac sign? All of that
Right.
type of shit motherfuckers was doing. That's what the
Throw
MC
some
was
shimmer on
doing.
it.
Keep it the flow from one record to another and all of that.
Yep.
But when you had people like Kumo D, Grandmaster Caz, and Melly Mel. First of all, these three guys were part of prolific groups in their own right. And when a lot of people talk about their top 5 and all of it, or their top, they always like try to mention just solo artists. And I think that's a mistake too, because in early hip hop, it was all about the group. Like, these guys were standout, but make no mistake about it,
groups were battling.
They were part of groups, exactly. Cold Crush battled, the Force MCs, or Jazzy 5, or the Funky 4 plus 1 more, and all those type of groups.
Right.
So we're throwing analysis around. We can't be proud to watch the time. The ladies check out this whole type. We don't design it. You look so mirrors. Your reference, fun up in your sponge. We just scamming. Oh yeah, yeah. We were like rocking and the shocking and never ever stopping. Fantastic. I have your fingers rock. The wicked on the beat. We give the records a shot. To make you party. People get up and start to rock.
But these guys, they had rhymes that were, almost to the level of what we hear today, as far as the storytelling and the vivid pictures that were being painted, and just the lyricism, just the level of lyricism. Like, it was like, oh shit. Like, they showed you what hip hop really could be. And at that point, I feel like real MCs were born from watching these guys.
Okay.
You understand?
Oh, you just made me think of something. Like, I have a feeling as we continue to have
there's going to be a lot of revelations that come to us.
I almost forgot. Yeah.
So you had dudes like this. Oh, I got to mention Spoonie Gee. Spoonie Gee, and I got a picture of me and Spoonie Gee that, we could throw up in the edit that I just took with him recently. I was saying, so like, the first time I heard a Spoonie Gee record, I might have been like 8 years old. Like, love rap. And like, I still remember this shit to this day. Like, I was saying the rhymes for this dude. Like, he was one of the first MCs to like give up game, like street game, or how to deal with women, and don't spend your money. And
I believe Ice-T credits Spoonie Gee for like kind of with his direction and
maybe because Spoonie Gee was a bad motherfucker, and just the way he almost rhymed like a pimp, like the way how smooth he used to rhyme was almost like a fucking pimp. And he used to be saying some pimpish type of shit. I was cruising down the street in my SL when I seen this girl.
I'm pretty positive.
Very well.
Ice-T basically said he got in so many words, he kind of admitted to swagger jacking Spoonie Gee.
And Spoonie Gee let me know he was only 16, 17 at the time he's making these records. And he's telling people, like, you know what I mean? Like don't let girls, don't let all this shit go to your head with money and all this type of shit. They're going to play you. They want to hang out today, smoke cheap, sniff coke, then see you later. Alligator when you broke. Like, come on, man. He gave up game for a young motherfucker. Yeah. So we got to mention Spoonie Gee. Now, as we go on, you had another dope lyricist that I think a lot of people forget about. Was a guy named DLB from the Fearless Four. You know that song?
Shouts out to
Rocking it. Yes, we are rocking it. Come on,
that's
Tito. All right, shout out to Tito. DLB was a bad motherfucker, and I think he was underrated in his time. But I'm telling you, he was the standout guy in that group, and he was a really dope fucking MC.
You know who else was dope? And I actually heard them spit a verse not too long ago, and still nice. But I was doing Fearless for radio. We did like a little round table cipher.
Okay.
I actually got a little nervous going after him. I'm like, wait a minute. Never in Rah Digga's life have I ever been scared
who
to
gave you
rap
shaky
after
boots?
Oh my God. I want to say, is it Mike C? Let me fact check. Let me do my Googles real quick. But I want to say, I know he told the story of being the the first person to battle LL or something. Is it? Let me check.
Interesting. Well, speaking of LL, while you're checking,
he credits himself being the original pretty boy from Queens. So
hold up.
Let me
hold up.
I want to say guys, Mike C, Mike D, Mike G. Yeah, one of those alphabets. I gotta
listen.
check. If you're watching, you know what I'm talking about.
If you gotta listen, with all due respect to the brother, like, if you gotta do all of this to figure out who he is, I'm sorry, bro. You don't get on this list. Like, LL Cool J is that guy.
I mean, he wasn't LL.
Okay, so why are we even bringing this up?
Why bring him up? Because he was not. Because we actually did some verses, and I was like, wait, whoa.
And you was nervous because he was nice right now.
I ain't even going front. I kind of was feeling a little lax. It's like, okay, we got the 80s rappers.
You thought it was gonna be pushover.
This
he's gonna be like, and then I come to rock all the time, rocking with my rhymes, and you was like, I'm gonna roast his fucking ass. This nigga was like, bip, 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 bip.
Yo,
flipping it and bouncing it and shit on your ass.
Man, listen.
Okay,
I'm gonna get it right. Go.
All right, let's move on. Run-DMC, because a lot of people talk about just solo artists. No, fucking groups, man. Groups was the shit. Run-DMC, LL Cool J, MC Shan. I don't think people really fucking remember how dope MC Shan was at the time when all of these beats and my rhymes attach. Form a new creation called a Marley Scratch. Yo, that was my shit right there. That fucking beat. Go back and listen to that, Digga, because you was only like 2 years old when that came out, right?
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So go back and listen to fucking Marley Scratch by MC Shan. Go back and listen to Jane, Stop This Crazy Thing. Yo, them shits, and they was bumping in the clubs and all of that type of shit. Latin Quarters, and you know what I mean? Fun House, Roxy's, all of that type of shit. Just Ice. Just Ice was just one of the, he might have been the first one to call himself a gangster on rap. The gangster of rap, Just Ice. And he was God body.
Right.
Just Ice was Diesel with a mouthful of gold teeth. And that shit was just right up my alley. I was like, yo.
That was your guy?
What? I was like, this motherfucker looks scary as fuck. That's the type. That's what I'm talking about right there. He's just on it. Oh. And the first time I ever seen him perform at the Quarters, he had a fucking hoodie on.
I miss hip hop bullies.
Tied up all tight.
Fox.
You know what I mean? He looked like a stick-up kid on the fucking stage. I was like, wow, this is a real street nigga right here. And I was loving it. KRS-ONE.
Oh yeah.
KRS-ONE. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. This man, first of all, he took us through so many chambers.
Yes, he did.
From Criminal Minded to Edutainment to, he took us through mad chambers. But this guy, man, I mean, and even to this day, we just did the show at, the Barclays for, the UMTV Raps joint, and he closed out the show. And this man, rightfully so. This motherfucker is a hell of a performer, got hella hits, and bad motherfucker. The obvious, Rakim, the God Rakim, the God Big Daddy Kane, King Asiatic, nobody's equal.
Now you're actually moving. I'm
moving a little faster.
Okay.
Well, see. This all is the 80s.
Oh, right.
Because,
But they feel like worlds apart, but it was all one decade.
I was saying earlier, back in the days.
Because technically, we're both considered 90s rappers, but you're way older than me.
Way older than
Way older than me.
Way I'm farting dust as we sit here. Anyway. it seems like when you're younger, 3, 4, 5 years is a hell of a long time. And it seems like a hell of a long gap between people. Like when you were a child, 5 years was the difference between, I'm in elementary and you're in high school or some shit like that. But now 5 years is, if you're 40 and I'm 45, we're the same fucking age, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think once you get past 40, like, you're all one.
We're all the same age. But so you have like, okay, from let's say 80 to like maybe 83 would be more of that Cold Crush Furious 5 type of era. Maybe even a little before that. They might have been rocking.
I want to say like late 70s.
Yeah, but I'm saying I remember specifically a Cold Crush routine where there was like, well, it's 1981. And then I don't remember all the words to that one, but it's 1981. You see what I'm saying? And that was like the prime of some Cold Crush shit. None of these other groups was out yet as far as like Run-DMC and all of that type of shit. At least not on record.
I was gonna say, like once you get into Run-DMC, like that becomes like where my memory, that's pretty much like the. I want to say before, not that everything was a blur, but I was really, really young, so a lot of those honestly,
you can be a fetus by the time we finish
like,
this show.
A lot of the iconic groups from the late 70s, they were all kind of like, they were just names and numbers to me, whereas the music didn't really start resonating with me until until Shanté came along, until Run-DMC came along. So
okay, they first appeared in 83. Run-DMC first came out with It's Like That.
Yeah.
In 83. So that's what I'm saying. Now, Cold Crush and them was still around in 83, don't get me wrong. And they even made a record called Fresh, Wild, Fly, and Bold, probably around the same time. But that record, to me, now if we want to talk about certain things that I wasn't happy with, for the Cold Crush, that record to me, it just didn't capture their essence. Like they was one of those groups that was just so dope on tape. Like the Cold Crush routines that they had and just the break beats they used to rock off of.
Right.
Yo, I really wanted to like this record. And I liked it. It was cool. But it just... I knew that it didn't and it didn't become a hit. It didn't break out like some other records did because it was hard to capture certain groups' essence because some groups were better on tape than on record. But the 83 would be the beginning of that Run-DMC era. Shortly after that, you got LL.
Well, you know why that happens? Because now, remind you, with the tape, a lot of these routines were getting captured on stage in the moment. So it
not
was
even on stage, behind the table,
okay.
Because this was at the rec center. Like a lot of times, like I was so naive when I first heard hip hop. Like when they said "say ho," I believed they was at like the Garden or some shit like that. Okay. I didn't know where they was at. But it sounded like a lot of people to me.
But then they try to recreate these moments in the studio, and you know it's not the same element.
You know what? We're gonna talk more about recreating these moments in the studio when we get back, because that's part of what I didn't like about hip hop. How, especially in the Sugar Hill era, these motherfuckers would try to replay the break beats, and I didn't understand, why they just didn't use the records like I heard on tape. So when we get back, we're going to go more into this because this is a very in-depth conversation. This is and I also want to know your side, too, as far as females and all of it. So when we get back, I know I did I did a lot of talking on this one.
Yeah, because that was your day.
That was my day. You was still attached to an umbilical cord at this time. Right. Yanadameen Godcast. We'll be back. Peace. the absence of all confusion. United we stand, divided we fall. 2 fingers together is the real peace sign, y'all. Brand Nubian PEACE gear. Hoodies. T-shirts. Snapbacks. Available at hoodg.com. Get yours today. Peace! Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
Digga, putting headphones back on.
Okay. If you joined us earlier, you'd be like, damn, there's some red cups just automatically appeared in the frame. Well, we're going to keep it totally transparent with you. We just had an impromptu fish fry.
Since we last saw you.
Woo! We had an impromptu fish fry. Damn, that shit was good. Shout out to my man Grim. Fucking he
out there on the deep fryer.
What? He got the deep fry. He got the whiting with the motherfucking wheat bread. And now I got a little taste cup. It's almost like a family affair up in this motherfucker here.
Hot sauce in the bag.
Okay. So if you'd like to donate to the show, not that we'll use your money to have fish fries, but if you'd like to donate to the show, you can go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, or Yanadameen.com/support. So
nothing wrong with spending donations on fish fries. Hey, you gotta feed the messengers.
Hey, this is true. You
can't get the message if the messenger is hungry.
Messenger ain't fair.
Right.
Can't tell a message on a hungry stomach. This is true. Damn, that shit was good, Grim. Anyway.
Really? Really? Yeah.
Pardon self. He said it. Al said, you know I'm gonna make it harder too. Get that shit some bass in the edit.
While we being transparent, let me take a sip.
Hey, fuck it. I rocks with y'all. That's how good the shit. I said, damn, that shit was good. You know it was good when you kind of let out a little belch right out. You know what I mean?
Pretty fucking funny.
Woo. All right, so when we left, we were talking about our top MCs, going through time, our top groups and all of that.
You pretty much covered all of the late 70s guys.
Well, the early 80s, up until about 83.
So I was still a baby.
Just to recap real quick, I hit you with like Kumo D, Treacherous 3, Grandmaster Caz from the Cold Crush 4.
Because I was still a baby.
Exactly. I told you were a fetus, girl. You still attached to umbilical cords. You was, you know, what's that stuff called? The afterbirth was like right there.
Right.
Anyway, Melly Mel and the Furious 5. Now shout out to all the DJs and stuff of this time too. Like Treacherous 3, I know they had Easy Lee was the DJ. Well, I'm just talking about the DJ of these particular groups.
Oh, okay.
Like Grandmaster Caz, they had 2 DJs. I thought that was kind of dope. So they had Charlie Chase and Tony Tone. Now Charlie Chase was Puerto Rican, which I also thought was kind of dope. Because the Puerto Ricans been in hip hop since the beginning.
Absolutely.
You know. Now I'm not one to separate, you know, and say, oh well, Puerto Ricans is something. You know, I see Puerto Rican people as black people basically. But you know, if we want to specify, you know, certain geographical locations,
but they had their place in hip-hop.
Well, definitely, and we talked about Tito last.
That's my
episode
guy.
from the Fearless 4. Who else? Prince Whipper Web. That's another Puerto Rican MC. Prince Ruby D. There was a lot of Puerto Rican brothers, and especially in the breakdance, you know, Crazy Legs and all that. Yeah, they had that shit locked. So, I thought that was dope. And Melly Mel, of course, the Furious 5 with Grandmaster Caz. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, who are actually also Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees.
Dope.
And Melly Mel is actually someone, Caz too, actually, we'll be getting up here at some point to talk with us. But anyway, So we hit Spoonie Gee, Curtis Blow, Run-DMC. And then during the fish fry, my man Harold said that maybe I skipped past a couple of groups like Whodini. Okay. Who he did give a good analogy. Like Whodini kind of was like the flashy Run-DMC. You know what I mean? Like
I can see that.
They had the jewelry and the girls, and Run-DMC was more, the way they dressed was more street.
Yeah, I was about to say they definitely came.
Yeah, Whodini, they was rocking leather shorts and all this type of shit, which I did not approve of. Let's stop and talk for a second. Whodini and those leather shorts.
Hey, who likes short shorts?
We like short shorts.
These short ass leather shorts. Even back then, I believed that those shorts was too fucking short, and that's not some shit I ever would have wore. Now, would I have wore a leather suit? Not shorts, but like leather suits was dope back in the days, but they couldn't be all tight like Eddie Murphy, Delirious, or whatever the fuck leather suit he was wearing. Where that shit was mad tight. But niggas used to wear leather suits back in the 80s and all that type of shit.
Right.
And as long as they wasn't too tight, that was some fly shit.
You know what's interesting? Because whenever we criticize how the new generation dresses and stuff,
yes,
everybody's favorite go-to is, the guys from back in the day.
Yeah, look at how Grandmaster Flash and them dressed. Well, guess what? I didn't like that shit back then, and I don't like that shit now. Okay?
But you know what's crazy? They didn't even like it. If you listen to these guys talk now in documentaries, they'll say, look, we were modeling ourselves after disco stars,
or like George Clinton and them. Exactly. That's who they was modeling themselves.
Like hip hop,
P-Funk and all that.
Hip hop is a direct descendant of disco, so they wanted to emulate the disco
They
stars.
thought that's what you had to do,
right, in
order to further yourself as an entertainer. They thought that that's how an entertainer dressed.
Right.
Yet at the same time, Harold's going to show right now a flyer of the Cold Crush where these dudes was dressed like gangsters. I mean, they even had the Tommy gun and all of that. And they had the gangster suits with the gangster hats and all, you know what I mean? Like, and that was some fly shit. And they used to be on flyers like that. So it wasn't all about this leathers and chains. That was some shit that some of these groups was experimenting, and I'm telling you, I wasn't fucking with it back then. I was like for instance, the first hip hop show I ever went to, right, was at Roseland in the city, and it was Africa Bambaataa and the Sonic Force, Planet Rock. Okay, this song is, crazy hot at the time. Now, I knew the Soul Sonic Force from their tapes. So, when it was their chance to make a record, they came out with Planet Rock. And I didn't understand. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like
you didn't like the European fusion.
Well, see, what they were trying to do, because a break beat that we used to use at the time was a break beat by the name of Numbers from a group called Kraftwerk, a German group called Kraftwerk who made electronic music. God damn, this fish fry. Right. Trans Europe Express. Mm-hmm. That's trans. A chick. Numbers is. It's like much faster. He gonna play it. Those
two records.
Those are only two records that Kraftwerk ever made that niggas was fucking with.
Right.
Okay?
I think one was a side A, one was a side B.
I don't know. Well, yeah, because they was on this album and shit. I remember the album, and they looked like robots and shit like that on the fucking album. And those two songs was on there. And those were two staples in hip hop. Mm-hmm. So they used elements of that and kind of recreated, but they did some other shit. And just the way they was rhyming on Planet Rock, to me, was a little weird. It was not what I was used to for normal hip hop. But loving hip hop so much, and it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. So we would take basically any hip hop we can get.
Right. Plus, you got to remember, at that time, hip hop wasn't so segregated then the way I think, like now, I'm talking about the radio stations, like right now, how you have this station, excuse me, your Hot 97s, your Powers, they only play hip hop. If you want to listen to, if you want to listen to R&B, you have to go to, at that time, you had to listen to 98.7, KISS.
BLS and KISS.
Right, BLS. Like, the stations, I feel like...
But for the hip-hop I was listening to, you had to listen to WHBI.
But I feel like back then, you would hear a Blondie record and a Kraftwerk record and a Curtis Blow record. You would hear all of these records on one station.
Not necessarily.
No?
No, not necessarily.
I did. I never distinguished the difference.
Hip-hop, you heard Blondie on those type of... You would only hear that type of... Fat Five Freddy going, everybody start, whatever, that Rhapsody song, whatever the case may be, because that was kind of like a black song for her. But you're not going to hear other Blondie shit. You understand what I'm saying? Blondie was a punk rock artist.
But I mean, like now, how if you turn to those stations, you hear the same rap songs, and like back then, like you wouldn't
hardly hear rap, but you'd hear all the same R&B songs.
But you would hear a Madonna song on the same station. You would hear.
But Madonna was making black music at that time. Like, if you really remember when Madonna first came out, see, you was such a baby, so it's such a it's
is
still,
it all a blur to me?
It's fuzzy to you.
I'm like, okay, so
Madonna came in almost like a Puerto Rican broad.
No, you're
like
right.
The way she used to dress and the kind of music that she made.
Holiday.
All of that was like kind of how the Puerto Ricans was moving, like, and that's how a lot of white people would blend in back in the day. You had a lot of white people that would fake Puerto Rican.
They throw the cat
in order to
mascara on, the eyeliner on,
to try to, but they start talking like they from the Bronx or some shit, but. Yeah.
Get them some black dick.
And that's what she was doing. Like, trust me, I know dudes that said they knocked off Madonna when she was nobody back in the Roxy's, getting head in the bathroom and all that from Madonna when she was just a regular broad. Allegedly. This is what they were saying. I wasn't there for that, but this is what I heard. Anyway, what I'm saying, music has always kind of been segregated. Like, those labels were those radio stations, those was the black stations. You understand what I'm saying? And we was listening to black stations that would play some white people that were making blackish music.
That's what I'm hearing. But we know now in real life that
it still was super segregated. Want to
play rap music.
Come on. And even the black stations didn't. BLS had a ban against hip hop at one point. They banned hip hop. They thought it was so, detrimental to the culture and to, our youth and all of that. We're not going to play this savage music, basically. So it wasn't that. What it was is we would take some dope shit from no matter where it came from.
Right.
That's what it was. Like, if we found the funk, you see what I'm saying, within some kind of music, it didn't matter.
The break.
Yeah, as long as the break was dope, it didn't care. Like Big Beat, for instance. Boom, ba-da, boom, boom. Bah. That's Billy Squire. Some white boy named Billy Squire. I don't know who the fuck found that. Who the fuck nigga was listening to Billy Squire, because the rest of that song is some white boy bullshit that we would never listen to. But that beginning, boom, ba-da, boom, boom, bah. That was just such a hip-hop staple. And... if you want to say, well, that's how white people were involved in early hip-hop, that's the only way they were involved, was us taking some of their music and making it hip-hop. You see what I'm saying? But before that, Billy Squire didn't want to be involved with hip. He probably didn't even know he was using his record like that. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the times that we were in, but... Okay. So let me get back to my original story.
Back to
I went to the Palladium.
Okay.
I see Soul Sonic Force. So not only at first when I heard Planet Rock, when I first heard it, I was like a little weirded out, but I was like, I grew on me. This is all we had. All right, it's dope. It's a hit song. Now I get a chance to go see them at the Palladium. I was not ready for what I saw. You see what I'm saying? Like, in no mind did I did not imagine that these guys were going to come out with like capes and like, you know what I mean? Like suits with like space. One had a spaceman suit and one had an Indian chief and the other one. It was just like, what is this shit?
Looking like village people.
Yeah, looking like some crazy spaced out George Clinton village
I'm about to say,
people.
don't you say it.
Whoa.
Nothing. You better not. You better not.
I don't know what you thought I was gonna say, but okay, I'm not gonna say it.
I was bracing for impact. I'm sorry.
You can't even say the word space around here at all. You just can't. You say space, I need some space. Wait, where's he going with this? So they had on some crazy, weird shit, basically their costumes, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, I'm not feeling this. Like, I'm not feeling what they had on. Like, although the show was great, you know what I mean? Yeah. They ended up ripping it and like, you know, but on the way home, I'm like, so what do we think about? What y'all think about those outfits? Like, do we like those? Like,
well, thank God my first rap show was a Juice Crew show. By the time I was able to sneak in Sensations with my fake ID, I don't know, I was like 12.
Right.
And I had an ID that said I was 18. And the security, he looked at me. I'm like this skinny, scrawny little string bean. He looked at the ID. He looked at me. He looked back at the ID just like, go ahead, yo. Just go ahead. Enjoy the show. Just
man. Well, so it was shit like that. It was also things like just how they would try to recreate the breakbeats back then. Like the breakbeat was just so hard and dirty and gutter, and it was just like that whole Sugar Hill era. Mm-hmm. You know, with the pow pow boogie and the big bang bang, like shake it, don't break it. What's that, birthday party? All that type of, you know, it had the band coming in trying to replay the breakbeats. I was not happy with that era of rap. But we had to deal with it because this was it. Like, we thinking, I guess there's the tape ones, and then when you make a record, this is how it gotta sound. Like, because I didn't understand why they just wasn't using the records.
Because we, you know, unbeknownst to us, there was publishing and things of that nature.
Exactly.
The business side of it.
So I guess they were saying, because they still had to take a hit by replaying it. Mm-hmm. You're still taking a hit, but not the mechanical royalties as far as you'd have to pay that group that played it over. You see what I'm saying? And maybe somebody had to learn their lesson from Rapper's Delight, because that seemed like that was straight off that was sample right there. You see what I'm saying? That was the chic shit, and that was part of what made it dope. Mm-hmm. If they would have tried to replay that chic, you know,
it wouldn't have
the
been
good
the same.
times, it wouldn't have been the same. Mm-hmm. Like it would have sounded fucking corny, which a lot of that shit did. But again, we didn't have the luxury of 24 hours a day, you know, all you can eat hip hop, you know. We had to get this shit whenever the fuck we can get it. So when it came on the radio, that was a privilege. And or if you saw a new rap record in the store, because I used to go to the record store just looking for new rap records to come out. You might have never even heard, but if you see something come out from Sugar Hill, fuck it, you gonna get it. You see something come out from Enjoy, Sleeping Bag on it, you gonna get it.
So let me ask you this, because since it's really impossible, like when you see people talk about, oh, who's your top five? Who's your top five?
There is no top five.
Because there's so many components. Who's your number one?
Who's my number one?
You got a number
of
one?
All time?
Yeah.
Yes, Jay-Z.
Okay.
Jay-Z hands down.
Okay.
Only because he has the longest run. he has the strongest overall body of music, you know, as far as hits.
I say complete package. Like,
yeah, he's
hits,
authenticity.
Shit,
yes, everything
business
about it.
acumen.
Like yes, everything. Jay-Z.
Woman. The hottest chick in the game. Like, you go, Jay.
Jay-Z, hands down, is my number one
greatest of all time.
Rapper, greatest of all time.
Okay.
And I know probably a lot of people, the God didn't say Rakim. Yo, listen, I love Rakim to death. You know what I mean? But, you know, how many albums did Rakim really put out? You see what I'm saying? Compared to how many Jay-Z put out. It's like
I think 13 or 14 number ones, and
not
that
yes,
charts
I don't
and sales.
even care about that. It's
you
just
know,
about.
I'm just throwing that. That's just a fun fact.
It's just about the consistency,
right?
And then just the, you know, the social impact, all of that. Like
he'll make his hits. He will battle.
Right. Like Jay-Z was just definitely the all around, you know. But Rakim, he's up there. And another one that's up there that people better not forget is LL.
Oh, yeah.
Like, LL is a strong GOAT candidate as well, but I think he falls shy to Jay-Z because he's had more misses than Jay-Z has. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't remember a whole, you know, like, maybe the album with "I Touch You With 100 Gold," whatever album that was of Jay-Z, that might have been his only miss. If you
I think that might have been around the time like he was like behind the scenes still with Beyonce. That was that like "Excuse Me, Miss," and like he kind of got a little lovey-dovey somewhere along the line.
I'm talking about when he did the shit. He was still. It was right after Reasonable Doubt, and he had did a song with Babyface and all this type of shit. I forget what album that was, but I feel like that album was maybe not as strong as some of his other albums. Wow. And he'll probably say that too.
And he's one of those type of artists where like I don't really compare him to other artists. I compare him to his own bodies of work. I compare him to his own albums. I don't really compare him to other rappers.
Right.
I compare his albums just with each other.
Because he's at such a high level that it is hard to compare.
Right. And the same with Nas. I think Nas might be how you just described Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. That for me, that person is Nas. I think lyrically, he's definitely had. So my only critique of Nas is I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of his production, but I do like the fact that only Nas can do that. Like Nas can do things with certain records that only Nas will do. Like anybody else, it'll just be a whack ass record. But Nas is so like, you know, he's so eloquent with his rhyming, like he's gonna find a way to make that shit dope, and it's just gonna be some dope ass Nas shit. So for me, that person is Nas. However, my personal GOAT is and always will be Kool G Rap. He is a person that, like, for one, he literally taught me, and I've said this in a previous show, like he literally taught me how to construct, you know, what I look at as a dope 16-bar verse. And to this day, he can still drop projects that are dope from start to finish. Yep. No fast forwards. Damn, do they still fast forward in the digital age? Like there's no fast forwarding a Kool G Rap song for me to present day. And when I put together like lists, like when people ask me who my top 5, like I always have 2 different lists. Like I have one list which is like an impact legacy list. Like doesn't necessarily mean these people are the dopest MCs. It doesn't necessarily mean that like they still got it to this day, because that is also a criteria of greatest of all time to me, meaning you have to be able to transcend from one generation to the next.
Right.
But I do have a impact legacy list, and I do have like that, like the motherfucker's still digging your ass lyrically 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later. Would you like to hear mine?
Well,
Would you like to hear mine?
I would like to hear yours.
Actually, I was
when we get back.
Ooh.
Peace. It's the absence of all confusion. United we stand, divided we fall. Two fingers together is the real peace sign, y'all. Brand Nubian PEACE gear. Hoodies. T-shirts. Snapbacks. Available at hoodg.com. Get yours today. Peace. Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I am Lord Jamar.
And I'm Digga.
To donate to the show, go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, or Yanadameen.com/support. So we've been talking hip-hop.
All things hip-hop.
All things hip-hop from pretty much from its inception.
You gave a nice breakdown of
up until now.
Of
a couple other
generations.
honorable mentions.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Spicer. Just from because we're getting ready to talk about like impact, cultural impact versus those who spit. Jimmy Spicer was like, he had a song called Super Rhymes. He also had that dollar bill, y'all. That was also Jimmy Spicer. But Super Rhymes was something that I think helped hip hop because that was a great song for little kids. You know, and a lot of us who were introduced to hip hop at that time were little kids and shit. And Jimmy Spicer, just the way he changed his voice up and, you know, rhymed like a fucking vampire and all this other shit. It was just like,
remember when music really used to teach?
A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes why.
That was a hit-ass record.
First of all, I bet you don't even teach the sometimes why anymore. Like, I think that's an old.
They don't even teach cursive in school anymore.
Remember when you used to sing about the rainbow and shit like that? Fucking violet, indigo, blue and green, yellow, orange and red.
Well,
now the gays done stole the rainbow from the little kids.
I hate you.
They done robbed the rainbow.
I hate you.
How you gonna steal the rainbow from the little kids?
Break yourself, fool!
I hate you, Jamar. I hate
Motherfuckers ain't right.
I don't remember.
But anyway,
I'm about to say I don't remember that song.
Come on, violet, indigo, blue and green. Violet, indigo, blue and green.
Remember,
violet,
you're
indigo,
way older
blue
than
and
me.
green. Yellow, orange and red.
No.
Trust me, y'all motherfuckers remember that.
My
shit.
generation was take a look. It's in a book. Reading rainbow.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
hearing that on the TV in the background somewhere. Huh? Oh, Rappin' Duke. Da ha da
Right.
ha da ha ha ha.
Wait, who?
But real quick.
I was gonna say, wait, who is rapping Duke right now?
I'm sure I want to give you full time to give you a little list and all that. I
Okay.
just want to give a few honorable mentions.
Okay.
Jimmy Spicer, Fat Boys. Who else? Give me some, Harold.
Oh, damn, he said Slick Rick.
Oh, did we? Well, we kind of didn't get to that area, but let's just say Slick Rick, EPMD, fucking. I mean, we got a lot of people to talk about.
Say no, because I'm about to say now that you getting into my list. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
we didn't even
Relax.
really. I'm about to say technically we didn't even really get to that. Era.
We didn't really.
But I will say this now. Like I said in the previous episode, I have my impact legacy list,
Bismarcky.
and I have my my got bars list. Now
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the females.
Oh, of course you are.
Because that's what I do.
Okay.
So my impact legacy list, and again, these are the females that I feel actually like changed the game. It wasn't so much about if they could spit or this and that. Like, these are strictly like game changing women. Gotta give props to Roxanne Shanté. Game changer. She is a female that really initiated females getting taken seriously on the battlefront. And that is something that still happens to this day. I really don't recall that happening before Roxanne. Like, I'm pretty sure females like challenged each other because that was hip hop. But as far as like really getting on wax and just going at other broads, I feel like Roxanne really, Shanté really pioneered that front.
Well, just for female MCs, just real quick, I gotta say, Sha Rock was the first female MC I ever heard.
Well, no, I'm not saying these are the first females, but what
I'm just saying, I'm just
okay.
Let the record reflect.
Right, absolutely.
That's the first female MC I ever heard was Sha Rock.
Okay. So, I concur. And I concur.
And I thought she was super dope, but she wasn't a battler or anything.
Right.
She was just a female holding her own amongst 4 other males. The Funky 4 plus one. You know what I mean? And that plus one was holding her fucking own.
Okay.
Amongst those other MCs.
Okay. So we can call her a game changer as well. Impact Legacy, Queen Latifah.
Absolutely.
Queen Latifah made it cool to be like Nubian goddess, queen, proud black woman. And again, this is something that we see in hip hop today. You have, in the midst of like so many women being sexually explicit, you have women that say, no, I'm a queen. Don't call me a bitch. Don't refer to me.
Who you calling a bitch?
You
and I.
Like Queen Latifah really made you proud to be like a Nubian woman, like a black woman. And, and when I say Impact Legacy, I also mean like right now to this day, you still see, traces of that.
Well, first of all, I just want to say real quick, shout out to Queen Latifah, because like she's impacted me as far as what she's done, even past music. She's gone into the acting and film, and you got to remember, Queen Latifah wasn't no like
singing.
Big gold and platinum artist. Now hold up.
That's what I mean.
She was kind of the same level, but she went and took and transformed herself.
Impact Legacy.
Yes, and she's someone I actually look up to as far as that goes. Like as far as like taking her hip hop shit and like just broadening it and just making it
jazz,
even
singing.
Yes,
like she
yes.
did, she did so many things.
Producing like a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, she is the shit.
And she's also the person that made me be like, wait a minute, I'm about to go get a record deal. This bitch lit out, excuse me, bitch. This girl lit down the street. Exactly. Like, oh, you could be from Jersey and get this. Okay. I'm gonna Impact Legacy. I'm gonna say MC Lyte. MC Lyte for me showed me how to put it together as a, like being I want to say commercially hardcore chick. Like for me, MC Lyte was the person that showed me, because I was I never really looked at Shanté and Latifah as tomboys. Like MC Lyte gave me, and I was very tomboyish when I was young, and I feel like MC Lyte kind of showed me how to do this, how to maneuver as a female, but still be like tomboyish at the same time. Even though I would say they were all tomboys, like I felt like MC Lyte had the deep voice, and my voice is, very similar to her. So she kind of showed me what to do with my voice and how to make certain records and come across a certain way as a female. So, again, this is my personal Impact Legacy list. And I feel like we still see that today. You have, the females that are, kind of tough, hardcore-ish with it. Lauryn Hill. I feel like Lauryn Hill, Impact Legacy-wise, like, again, she's another one that she made brown skin, natural hair beautiful, commercially acceptable. Like, white people could look at the Bantu twist and brown skin as beautiful. It wasn't just about light skin and weave. And, Lauryn Hill did that. So I would say, again, she's another one. Impact Legacy made a body of work that has very little rapping on it, and it's still standing the test of time. You know, people will argue that she's the greatest female rapper ever, and she's probably rapped the least out of all of us. So,
that's ill, yo.
Cannot deny her impact or her legacy. And I'm also impact legacy. I also I have to say Lil Kim. Love it or hate it, Lil Kim changed the motherfucking game for female rappers. She did some shit that no female had dared to go before.
And what was that? What did she do, actually?
She pulled that titty. She pulled that. Yo, let me tell you something.
Well, first of all, when she sat there and she squatted, that poster was the talk of the motherfucking town.
Let me tell you
because
something.
those were snipes that were out on the street.
Right. Like, and I'll be honest.
For those that don't know what snipes are, those are posters they used to put up back in the days and glue them to, wherever.
The street team was running around putting them up. If you look at,
so you see Lil Kim with her legs spread wide open with that.
That was like, oh shit. Like, and and
that monkey staring at you.
I would say a lot of females were definitely like conflicted. Like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? We supposed to be spitting. We supposed to be, rapping.
Why
like,
she got her pussy out?
Yeah, like that. I think that really, took a lot of females by surprise. But she came, she saw, she conquered. And I remember the MTV Awards where she did the one titty with the pasty. I was actually at those awards.
And Diana Ross tweaked her titty.
Yes.
That's when she was famous.
Let me tell you, when she walked in that room with that titty out, you could hear a fucking pin drop. Like, I wanted to shed a single tear, like, you won, bitch. You won. You won.
I don't know if she won. But
but I'm saying that to say
she did something.
I mean, it was controversial. She had her share of naysayers, but that is something that definitely still resonates to this day. Now, because when we're talking impact legacy, you have to keep in mind, like, these are game-changing things that literally, like, transcended over time, and you still see it today. Right.
Well, was that a good game changer, though?
I mean, that's...
You see, because look
subjective.
where we are. No.
That's subjective.
Hold up. I don't think it is subjective.
I mean,
Hang on a second. Look where we're at in hip hop right now, and especially with how the female is portrayed and all of that, like the hypersexualization that goes on with the female MC, like Kim has a direct.
Okay. She birthed.
And I don't know if
she birthed
if
all
that's
of
subjective
that.
To say whether that's positive or negative.
It is subjective to say that.
I don't think it is. Because there are.
First of all, we have to be objective. Your personal opinion about it is subjective. My personal
because I have a daughter
is subjective.
Who I'd never want to act like that.
I have a daughter too. Trust me. I was mortified.
And I know for herself you would never do it.
I was mortified when I heard "Take It in the Butt." Yes. What I was like, I was trying to find a radio station. Like, oh my god.
What I'm saying is, do we want these generation of our young sisters to be running around with these Lil Kim morals?
But we have to be objective enough to say that she did change the game.
Right, but I'm not saying
whether she changed it for good or for bad. That is subjective.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it is subjective.
But
I think that she changed it for bad.
Okay.
When it comes to certain imagery of our sisters, like, you see what I'm saying, and certain over sexualization. Yeah, I take it in the butt. What? And like because when you start there, right? Now you just have to ramp it up to even so that you're like, so that people even feel anything anymore, because you get desensitized to this type of shit.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
it's no shock.
Trust me,
it's no shock
you
now.
Start with Lil Kim talking about, I take it in the butt. What? And down the road, it hasn't come yet. I didn't see it yet, but one of these rappers are gonna do a fucking sexual act or some shit on stage. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because that's what they have to do. Well, at some point they're gonna have to do that.
Hey, men are getting blowjobs on stage.
So what I'm saying is the rapper now is gonna be the one giving the blowjob on stage. Like the female rapper, or some of these niggas might start doing it, to be honest. the times we live in, let's keep it real. But what I'm saying is, it's not gonna be enough to just say I take it in the butt anymore. Like you're gonna have to actually
I understand what you're saying.
Do a video with it or something, and that's where sex tapes and shit come out at.
At the end of the day, we cannot deny her impact
and
her
I'm just
legacy.
saying it's not necessarily a good impact for our young sisters. And I don't think that's subjective. I think
it is subjective.
I mean, to somebody who thinks that anarchy is a good thing, then it's subjective. You see what I'm saying?
No, it's subjective. It's subjective.
I believe
because it's your opinion. Now you have women that feel like, hey, I was tired of seeing female rappers looking like little boys. Hey, I'm happy to see females, sexually liberated, empowering themselves. So that
but that's not empowering yourself as a woman.
There's two sides.
That's
to that
not
argument.
Liberation. That's not female liberation.
That's your opinion.
No, that's real shit. Like somewhere along the line.
Why can't
that be you're talking some American, European woman shit. Like
I'm not. I'm not.
Hold up, yeah, you are. Let's not get the black woman and the white woman shit mixed up. Like, and I think that's where a lot of black women have adopted white women's outlook on certain things. You're not empowering yourself by being a whore. Like, let's keep it real. Like, slut walks and all this type of shit is foolishness. Like the Amber Roses of today is some bullshit. You are not empowering yourself by saying, okay, I can be a whore and that's that. That is not helping our sisters.
I never said it was. I'm just being objective.
But listen, fuck all that. Like we don't play these games on the Yanadameen show.
I'm looking at both
I hear what you're saying,
sides of the argument.
but that's some bullshit. I'm telling you, that side of the argument is some bullshit.
Okay.
We here at the Yanadameen Godcast stand for just the same way we said, can you be pro-black and not procreate with black and be with white people? Well, you can't fully be pro-black and be about this horse shit either. You can't be pro-black and be about selling drugs and shit and killing niggas on your records either.
The moral of the story was Lil Kim, love it or hate it. Mm-hmm. My original statement, love it or hate it, she still has an impact and a legacy that can't be denied.
You're right. And now, to be fair, Jay-Z is just as negative. Okay, with his selling drugs and all that type of shit. So let me just put that out there too. He's just as fucking negative and not as good for the people, but yes, has a social impact. But I don't think it's debatable whether it's good or bad. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no debating that they have an impact, but a lot of their impact is negative. That's all I'm gonna say. Because that nigga has influenced many niggas to sell drugs, and that woman has influenced many girls to take it in the butt. What? Moving on.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Moving on. Now, my other list. Now, this is my MC list. Oh, and I have to shout out Missy Elliott as a sixth man.
Absolutely.
For Impact Legacy, because she just came with a whole new sound,
shit. Look.
just everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just, she's definitely there. It's hard to even put a top 5, and I would hate to call Missy sixth man because she could be any number 1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't do 5. We're just talking to our top.
We're just fuckers. So our top fuckers. So Missy is that.
Can I throw in a glaring omission?
Mm-hmm.
Salt-n-Pepa?
No, I didn't omit them. I'm gonna say as far as impact, legacy, they are there, but me personally, they didn't necessarily change the game for me. Like these were my personal game changers. Like
and that's where your infancy, your age comes into play.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Because Salt-n-Pepa absolutely were an impact
And
legacy. Like there would be no Lil Kim. But see, they weren't as raunchy as a Lil Kim.
Right.
But they were
started,
knocking at the door.
It's like you said.
They were knocking at the door.
And then Lil Kim bust open the door.
Okay.
And now
you got Nicki Minaj trying to recreate Lil Kim's poses and all this type of shit.
And it's funny because even when I was making this list, Salt-n-Pepa came to mind, but then, you know, back to our previous discussion, it's kind of like through the eras, it's like, wow, you know, Salt-n-Pepa is almost a different, you know, she's a different era from the Lil Kim.
Yeah, but you got to understand their impact. Like they were the female Run-DMC.
Absolutely.
So there's no way that you can't bring them up.
I can't not put them in it.
You can't. Like if Roxanne is your female Rakim, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then Salt-n-Pepa needs to be your female Run-DMC or your female whoever your greatest group is.
I respect
you understand
that.
what I'm saying?
I respect that. So
now we got to speed this part up because you took a very long time on your impact part.
you just stopped and debated me to death about
you talking about it's not debate.
I
said, hang on.
It is subjective.
I don't believe it.
If it's your opinion,
not here at the Yanadameen Godcast. We don't believe it's subjective.
If it's your opinion,
we believe
it's your
that
subjective.
We don't fuck with that whole shit. But anyway, go ahead.
If it's an opinion, it's subjective because unfortunately there are a lot of people that fuck with the
but
whole
what I'm
shit.
saying is
we as
here
media,
at the Yanadameen Godcast is like, this is not some democratic shit. Like we on some pro-black. Like if you're not about that shit, then you're part of the problem. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we don't believe it's subjective here. Maybe out in the politically correct world, in the politically correct world, it's subjective.
Okay.
But not here. You see, here, that's some bullshit. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Jamar has spoken.
Love ya.
My still got bars list. Rah Digga! Woohoo!
Hey.
Because I'll still bust your ass in 2018.
Well, you know what? Hang on a second.
I'm just going to run it down.
All right, hurry up because
Bahamadia, Rage, Jean Grey, Gangsta Boo, Eve, Remy Ma, honorable mention. That's my who I can call right now. If I want to do a Run the Jewels EP with another broad, I'm calling either one of them right now. 2018, they'll bust your ass on the mic.
All right. Well, listen.
Didn't necessarily sell the most, and I don't have to worry. I don't have to question if they wrote their own shit or not.
Well, listen. I believe that this conversation is a little too in depth to cover in just 1 hour. So here's what we're going to do.
We got to do a part 2.
We're going to do
To be continued.
This is our first to be continued. So when we continue, we'll summarize where we've been so far. We'll go over your list, maybe a little more detail of why you picked some of those people.
Okay.
And we'll keep moving forward, you know, through time and really try to comprise a list of, you know, all the greatest through times. The Dougie Freshes and Slick Ricks
It's
and
so
the
many.
Bismarckies and the... it's just so many. Yeah. But we're going to try it. We're going to do our best to get to it. You know what I mean, Godcast? Peace. It's the absence of all confusion. United we stand, divided we fall. Two fingers together is the real peace sign, y'all. Brand Nubian PEACE gear. Hoodies. T-shirts. Snapbacks. Available at hoodg.com. Get yours today.